Hello, guys. So, this is the news from the CBS News that has something to do with the proclamation about the travel ban that includes the family visas. So, it says here that Biden to rescind Trump's pandemic era limits on immigrant and work visas, top advisor says. Okay, it says here that the President Biden plans to rescind strict limits on legal immigration that former President Donald Trump said were necessary to protect U.S. workers during the coronavirus-induced economic recession, according to a top White House official. So this is what most of us are waiting, and this is about the President Biden to rescind the travel ban that was proclaimed by President Trump. Okay, so to continue further, it says here that Mr. Biden plans to sign an executive order rescinding the proclamation that suspended certain immigrant and work visas. Esther Olavaria told U.S. mayors over the weekend, according to a recording of the virtual meeting shared with CBS News. Olavaria is a deputy director of the White House Domestic Policy Council and one of the president's top immigration advisors. The upcoming order, Olivaria said, would rescind the Trump proclamations that precluded the admission of immigrants and non-immigrants either deemed to be a financial burden on our healthcare system or deemed to present a risk to U.S. labor markets. These were policies that ignored the decades and centuries, actually, of contributions that immigrants have made to our economy, to our society, to our culture, Olivaria said during the United States Conference of Mayors' 89th winter meeting. So we would rescind those policies and return to a country that welcomes immigrants and acknowledges their contributions. It is still unclear when Mr. Biden intends to sign the proclamation, but his plans to issue several immigration actions on Friday have been delayed. The White House did not provide any further comment. Olivaria's remarks represent the first indication of the Biden administration views on the visa limits. During the campaign and transition, Mr. Biden did not address the policy, nor did his advisors commit to revoking it. Less than a month before Mr. Biden took office, Mr. Trump ordered a 3-month extension of the restrictions, which were first enacted in April 2020 as a ban on some prospective immigrants and broadened in June to also suspend several temporary work visas like the H-1B program. Mr. Trump's proclamation, which is currently set to expire on March 31, prohibits the issuance of some immigrant visas for people seeking to move to the U.S. permanently through green card petitions filed by the U.S. family members or prospective employers. Spouses and children 21 or younger of U.S. citizens are not subject to the visa limits, which also exempt some healthcare workers fighting the pandemic, as well as wealthy immigrants who agree to invest more than $1 million in U.S. projects. Mr. Trump's proclamation also froze the Diversity Visa Lottery, a program that allows people from underrepresented countries, many of them in Africa, to move to the U.S. In September, a federal judge ordered the government to issue visas to more than 9,000 would-be immigrants who won the lottery last year, but they remain barred from entering the U.S. under the proclamation. The restrictions have also halted the issuance of several temporary visas used by the people to work in the U.S., including the H-1B program that is popular in the tech sector and H-2B visas for non-agricultural seasonal workers. Cultural exchange J-1 visas for au pairs and other short-term workers, visas for spouses of H-1B and H-2B holders, and L visas for companies to relocate employees to the U.S. have also been restricted. The government is currently barred from applying the visa limits on workers sponsored by several major U.S. companies because of a court ruling in October. Sarah Pierce, a policy analyst for the Nonpartisan Migration Policy Institute, said Mr. Trump's pandemic-era visa restrictions have had some staying power because they were enacted on economic grounds. While she believes the limits do not benefit U.S. workers, Pierce predicted that lifting them will fuel some pushback. Convincing a segment of the U.S. population that the restrictions need to be rescinded will not be an easy task, Pierce said, citing the current 6.7% unemployment rate. The economic crisis is still here and is a huge problem for the United States, Pierce told CBS News. Biden is going to have the present reason for why he feels it's right to undo these proclamations despite their supposed benefits to the U.S. economy. Pierce's group estimates that more than 8,000 green cards petitions were blocked between April and November 2020 due to Mr. Trump's restriction. Olavaria said Mr. Biden will also rescind the proclamation Mr. Trump issued in October 2019 to allow the government to reject visa applications from immigrants it determines will not be able to pay for health insurance or cover medical costs in the U.S. According to an outline of expected executive actions obtained by CBS News, Mr. Biden is planning to sign an additional directive instructing officials to review the public charge rules that allow consular and immigration officers to deny green card and visa petitions from applicants deemed to rely or to be at risk of relying on public assistance like food stamps. Okay, so this news was first published on January 28th of 2021. So guys, this is a very good news to us because there is now hope of the end of the travel ban. Okay, so let us just wait and pray that the President Biden will sign this executive order immediately for the suspension of this travel ban that President Trump did put on immigration for the family visas. So what we need to do now is to just sit down and wait and pray, and that this executive order will soon come to a reality, because this is what we all have been waiting for. So good luck to each and every one of us, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.